don't know specifically what God has for each of you this year. Those of you listening, those of you watching, I don't know specifically. And I don't know when you're going to even see this or hear this. But I want to encourage you to not to be afraid to dream with God and take risks with God. I mean, I look back over my life, and there's been a few times where God has asked me to take some pretty crazy risks. Now, they weren't me wishful thinking, oh, I would love to do this, so I'm just going to drop everything and do it. No. It's got to be ordered of God. Like, it has to be from God. I remember back in 2012, I was working full time. I got a promotion at the job I was at, and I was also in school. And so I had things kind of planned out. And it was July. And then all of a sudden one night I was praying. And then I felt like God was like, Joel, I want you to go to this specific discipleship school. And I was like, and I had no desire to go there. It wasn't even on my radar. I had my things. I was in Bible college and I was working full time. I was single at the time. I was like, this is what I'm doing. Then one night God was like, no, I want you to do this. And I was like, what? It's crazy. Quitting my job, leaving the school I was at, selling my stuff, and moving all the way across North America, because I live in just outside of Toronto, Canada, and this school is in California. Selling everything, quitting to move to do that. And here's the thing, I didn't have enough money at the time to cover my expenses for the whole year. And so I really wrestled with this. I mean, I remember telling my dad, and my dad was like, this is a massive mistake. Like, what are you doing? And he was like, because on the outside it looks stupid, but I really believed it was from God. And so, but I took that step of faith, and it was the best year of my life, or one of the best years of my life, is where I met my wife, and God provided for me for the entire year. I never ran out of money. Now, I wasn't living in luxury, but he met all of my needs for the entire year. Now, I say this because there were some people who just, they wanted to go to this school. It was a desire of theirs, but not something that God was really leading for them in that moment, in that season. And they went out there, same situation, not having enough funds for the whole year, but then ultimately they had to leave halfway through, leave a third of the way through, because they ran out of money. You see, sometimes God asks us to take risks, but if it's a God-ordained risk, he's going to meet your need. He's going to help you get through, versus you just doing what you want to do. And it may be a good thing, like going to this Christian discipleship school and having a year with God. That's a great desire and dream. That's a great aspiration, but we have to use wisdom as well. And if God is not in it, then chances are it's not going to work out. Versus if God is telling you to take this risk, to step out, he's going to meet your needs. And so again, I don't know what God has specifically for each of you, but I want to encourage you to don't be afraid to dream with God and take risks. Ask him, God, like, what do you want from me from this year? What do you want for my family? What do you want for my finances? What do you want for my relationships? What do you want for my purpose, my future, my calling, my destiny? Like, God, like, what do you want? Ask him. I guarantee you, he's going to tell you. He wants to tell you. I guarantee he has something. And then when he does reveal that to you, don't be afraid to take the risk. Because God always provides. He always provides. So yeah, I think that's the basic gist of what I wanted to share as the first episode for 2024. the importance, guys, of vision. I mean, it's without it, like last year, I remember um the vision that I felt like God was sharing with me was, Joel, go all in, go all in. And I just I didn't listen. I didn't go all in. I wasn't obedient. And I wrestled with God a lot this past year. And there was a lot of time where I was just, man, I was unhappy, not because life was hard. I mean, life was great in terms of like family and relationships, and like 2023 was a great year, but internally with what I felt like God wanted me to do, and with my own dreams and my own aspirations and vision, I was very unhappy because I wasn't being obedient to what God was saying. And I wasn't listening. And so I was kind of just existing in certain areas, and I hate that feeling. And so 2024, man, I have a new sense of purpose and direction, and I'm taking risks, and I'm actively taking steps, and I want everything that God wants from me this year. And there may be difficult times, there may be obstacles, there may be, you know, who knows what's coming down the pipe. But I do know that God's with me and that God has called me to this. And so I'm excited to see what happens. And so, man, getting a vision, getting a word, getting a theme it's life changing. And so go after God and ask him what he has for you.